Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to the sound of gunfire in your home, your husband lying dead beside you. And the awful truth is, your son is the one behind it all.
Oh my gosh.
That's the reality for Corey Shaughnessy.
Wow.
And today, we're going deep into the Shaughnessy family murder. We've got court testimonies, we've got interviews, investigative reports, all to really try to unpack this case.
This case is so interesting because, like, at first you think, oh, just a home invasion, right?
Yeah.
But it's so much more complicated than that.
Right. So, okay, the Shaughnessy's, Ted and Corey, successful couple living in Austin, Texas. They built this amazing jewelry business. They have a son, Nick. Everything seems pretty normal.
Yeah, like totally normal family. They loved Nick. They supported him. They even helped him start his own business, a day trading business.
So March 2nd, 2018, really early in the morning, intruders break into their home. Ted is killed. One of their dogs is killed. Corey thankfully survives, but she actually exchanges gunfire with the people who broke in.
It's just such a terrifying experience. And right away, the investigators were confused because nothing was stolen.
Right.
So they're thinking, this isn't your typical robbery. Then they find out that a handgun is missing from Nick's bedroom. And get this, Nick and his girlfriend, Jackie Edison, live 2 hours away. But as soon as this happens, they rush back to Austin.
So right away, suspicion falls on Nick.
Exactly.
And the detectives on this case, Paul Saleo and James Moore, they do incredible work. I mean, they find all these text messages on Nick and Jackie's phones that really point to them hiring hitmen.
Yeah, and it was Detective Moore who noticed this tiny detail, but it was like the key to cracking the whole case open. He was looking at security footage from Nick and Jackie's porch from like 2 days before the murders.
Okay.
And he sees this guy wearing a green t-shirt with the name of a window company on it.
Wow.
Random, right? But they track down this window company. And through some amazing luck, they actually find an employee who, get this, whose daughter remembered the guy who wore that shirt. And he had only worked there for a few days, 4 years earlier. It's incredible.
That's nuts. So they find their suspects, right?
Yeah.
But why would Nick want his own parents dead?
Well, that's the big question. And it's not totally clear from what we know. Some people think it was just about money. He wanted to inherit everything.
Greed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, is that enough?
Yeah, you have to wonder.
Right. Corey even said that Nick wasn't super into the day trading thing. Maybe that was part of it. Resentment?
Maybe. I mean, his parents gave him so much, maybe he felt entitled to even more.
Yeah. Like, he deserved it all.
It's just a really dark and twisted situation.
It is.
And then you've got Jackie, too. What was her role in all this?
Yeah, we don't know exactly how involved she was.
But she was definitely a part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Nick and his two accomplices, they end up taking plea deals.
35 years each.
Jackie, though, only gets 120 days in jail.
I know.
I mean, Corey is understandably upset about that.
Of course.
You can just hear the pain in her voice when she talks about this.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. She feels like there's no justice.
Mm.
Not only did she lose Ted, but the people responsible, especially Jackie,
Yeah.
barely get any punishment.
Yeah, it's like she feels like she's the one with the life sentence, you know?
She even said that nobody explained why the sentences were so different.
Right, like why Jackie got off so easy.
Exactly.
Well, the DA did release a statement saying, they're committed to holding people accountable and all that.
Right.
And they said Jackie is on probation for 10 years.
Okay.
And if she messes up, she could go to prison for 20 years.
Okay.
But, I mean, that doesn't really change how Corey feels.
Right.
She still feels betrayed. Like, the system failed her.
It's tough. Okay, we've talked about the crime, the investigation, the trial, but we really need to talk about Corey and what she went through.
Yeah, absolutely.
She survived this horrific attack,
Yeah.
but then she has to deal with the fact that it was her own son who did it.
It's unimaginable.
I mean, how do you even process that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Corey's strength is just amazing. She had to deal with the physical and emotional trauma of the attack, but then she also has this unbelievable betrayal to come to terms with.
It's a testament to her strength, that's for sure.
In one interview, they played a recording of Nick apologizing to her from prison.
Oh, wow.
He's saying he's sorry, that he wishes he could tell her how much he regrets what he did, that he failed her as a son.
And what did Corey say?
Her response is just chilling. She said, "It means nothing to me."
Wow.
She said she doesn't even know who Nick is anymore.
Like, the son she knew is gone.
Yeah. It's almost like she's mourning two losses, her husband and the son she thought she knew.
It's so sad.
There's this really powerful moment where Corey describes herself as a ghost. like she's unable to speak.
Mhm.
She said she thinks she was supposed to die that night, that Nick wanted both of his parents dead.
It's like the pain is so deep she can't even put it into words.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Your own child tries to kill you, and then you're left with this silence, this inability to express what that feels like.
It's so heavy.
And then there's the guilt.
Right.
Did she miss any warning signs? Could she have done something differently?
Those are questions that probably haunt her.
And of course, there's the anger.
Right.
I mean, Jackie only served a few months. It just doesn't seem fair.
No, it doesn't.
So many victims of crime feel this way.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones being punished.
It's like they're the ones with the life sentence.
Exactly. So, on the one hand, you want the people who did this to be punished, to pay for what they did.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this idea of rehabilitation, right?
Right.
That people can change. It's a really tough balance.
It is.
But for Corey, the pain is so deep, and it feels like the justice system didn't really deliver.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But even with all of that, she still talks about the love she has for the son she knew, the boy who used to race cars with his dad.
Yeah.
It's like she's holding on to this tiny piece of hope that maybe, somewhere deep down, that son is still there.
A mother's love is powerful.
It is. And this case is just so complicated. I mean, we want to think of people as good or bad, but here you have this son who is capable of something so horrible, but he's also loved so much.
It's a really hard thing to wrap your head around.
And then there's Jackie.
Yeah.
She only served 120 days, even though she was deeply involved.
Right.
And now, as part of her parole, she has to spend the anniversary of Ted's death in jail every year for the next 10 years.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It's a pretty unique condition.
It is.
Some people might see it as just a symbolic thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we acknowledge what you did, but we're not going to give you a harsher sentence.
Right.
But is that enough?
That's the question.
I mean, is that really holding her accountable?
Or does it feel like a slap on the wrist, considering what happened?
Right. It just brings up this whole debate about what true justice is. Is it about punishment?
Or is it about rehabilitation?
Or is it about trying to prevent these things from happening again?
It's complicated.
This case really makes you think about family, about love, about betrayal.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that even the people closest to you can have this darkness inside them.
It's scary.
And it shows just how devastating violence is.
Yeah.
How one act can destroy so many lives and cause so much pain.
And that pain can last for generations.
It can. It makes you wonder, how did Corey find the strength? I mean, not just to survive that night, but to keep going afterward.
Honestly, it's just incredible, to go through something like that. It's just, most people, they just shut down or, completely lose it. But she's turned her grief into something positive.
Exactly. Like she could have just, given up.
Oh, for sure.
But she didn't. She's become an advocate for victims' rights.
Yeah. Using her story to help others.
Exactly. Spreading awareness about violence, supporting survivors. I mean, she's really turned this horrible thing into something meaningful.
Which is so powerful, for her, but for everyone she reaches too. It's like she's giving a voice to people who might feel like they don't have one.
Yeah, and in a way, it's like she's honoring Ted's memory too.
Absolutely. Making sure something good comes out of this.
Yeah, pushing for change, supporting other victims. It's amazing.
It really is. And there's another piece to this too. Remember, Corey was a target too.
Oh, right.
This wasn't just Ted's murder. They were trying to kill her too.
Right. So even though Nick is in jail, is there really justice for what she went through?
That's a good question. I mean, she was supposed to die that night.
Yeah.
And knowing that your own son wanted you dead, that's got to be with her every single day.
Yeah. And it shows how sometimes the law just can't fix everything.
Yeah.
Like the focus is on punishing the criminal, right?
Right.
But what about the people who are left behind?
Exactly. What about the trauma, the emotional scars? Those things might never heal.
Right. In Corey's case, it makes you think, what does justice really mean? Is it just about punishing the bad guys? Or is it about helping the victims heal too?
That's the big question, isn't it? How do we create a system that does both? Hold people accountable, but also help victims rebuild their lives.
It's a tough one. So much to think about with this case. It's been a roller coaster, We've seen the worst of humanity.
For sure.
Flaws in the justice system.
Yeah.
The incredible pain that Corey has had to endure.
Yeah. But we've also seen amazing strength. The power of the human spirit to overcome even the most terrible things.
Yeah, Corey's story is proof of that.
It makes you think,
It does. So, to everyone listening, What sticks with you from this case?
What parts really resonated?
Yeah. Maybe it's made you think about your own family, about the relationships in your life. Or maybe it's something bigger, like, how we can better support victims of crime or push for a more just system.
It's definitely a conversation starter.
It is. And we hope this deep dive is giving you a new perspective on this case and on these really important issues.
We always encourage you to keep digging deeper, read more, listen to other viewpoints. There's always more to learn.
That's the beauty of it. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep those conversations going.
And we'll see you next time.